Hey y'all, welcome to Kickstart with Roberts Wesleyan College. My name is Herb Alexander. I'm the Director of Diversity and Equity at Roberts Wesleyan College. And if you're not familiar with what that is or what that position does, basically I advocate for people of different cultural backgrounds to connect and understand and value each other's differences, but then also to value each other's experiences. I also advocate for equity, and equity at its base level just means everyone has what it is that they need to succeed. So today I'm here to give you some words of encouragement. I know for a lot of us, our lives have changed drastically in the last month. And then for students, I know that as we approach the end of the semester, we're coming upon finals and projects and things like that. And so I know that can produce a lot of pressure. So I want to give you some words of encouragement. And so about a month ago on my social media, and I talked to a bunch of students, and something that I suggested that we all do is find a way to keep routine and find a way to keep normacy. And so I said it is important that every night we write down our schedule for the next day. And even if it's not every night, as much as we can, write down what will we do the next day. So what time are you going to wake up? What time are you going to do your homework? What time are you going to work out? When is going to be your free time? And that sense of routine and that schedule will give us a feeling of purpose and direction, right? And so a lot of us have been doing that, but now I think it's time for us to do a little bit more and to take it to the next level. And so something I've been doing and I've been really focused on is using this time to do what I think is the most important thing for people to do in general, and that is to self-assess and to self-reflect, to understand who we truly are and what we truly believe, right? And so what I've done is I've asked myself 3 questions, and I would encourage you all to do this, and I know it would help if you can commit to it. And so the 3 questions I asked myself were this: if I could go back to things being normal, what productive thing would I be doing, and why would I be doing that? Right? So let's take an example. So if I was a school teacher and I said if I can go back to things being normal, the productive thing that I would be doing is I'll be teaching my 4th and 5th graders. And the reason why I want to do that is because I love helping people get information and knowledge, right? And so for me, when I asked myself that question, what would I be doing? I said, you know what? I really enjoy being around our college students. And the reason why I love being around our students is because I love to help people get from where they are today and help them progress towards their full potential. And so when I asked myself that question, what I realized was there's ways that I can continue to do this, and ways that I have been continuing to do this, even though we're in a different situation, right? So that's the first question. Second question I asked myself, and I encourage you all to ask yourself, is if I could be around 3 to 5 people, who would they be, right? And then on top of that, what would they be contributing to my life? Or on the flip side, would they be detracting from my life, right? And the reason why I would ask myself that question, or the reason why I did ask myself that question is my favorite speaker, Jim Rohn. He said, we are the sum average of the 5 people who we are around the most, right? And so when you really think about that statement, when we're around people, we pick up their habits, their mannerisms, their thinking patterns, and it's all subconsciously. We don't even notice that we're doing that. And so I would encourage you to ask yourself, who are the 5 people you would be around, and what are they adding to your life? Or what are they detracting from your life? And evaluate, what is this relationship doing for me? But then also think about it in this way. Are you adding value to those people's lives yourself, right? What are you contributing to them? So that's the second question. And then lastly, I'll encourage all of us to ask, where am I on my spiritual journey and my spiritual walk? And what has this time of quarantine done to connect me to that path, right? Because it's so important that we continue down that road and really discover our own spiritual walk and our own spiritual journey. Okay, so with that being said, I want to encourage all of you to have an amazing start to your week. I know there's a lot of things right now that we feel like we cannot control, but I know what we can control is how we respond to what happens to us. If you want to talk to me, you can find me on Instagram at legacy_Herb. You can follow our diversity page, diversity_RWC, or check out SMAC, which is the student group I work with. It's the Student Multicultural Advisory Council _RWC, okay, on Instagram. So check us out, reach out to me, reach out to some of the other people at Roberts, and we're more than willing to connect and talk to you. And I just want to, again, encourage you to have a powerful and amazing week.
Hello, family. Pastor G here with today's Kickstart reading. Comes from the passage John chapter 20, verses 1 through 18. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved, and said to them, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." Then Peter and the other disciple set out and went toward the tomb. The two were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. He bent down to look in and saw linen wrappings lying there, but he did not go in. When Simon Peter came, following him, and went into the tomb, he saw the linen wrappings lying there, and the cloth that had been on Jesus' head, not lying with the linen wrappings, but rolled up in a place by itself. Then the other disciple who reached the tomb first also went in, and he saw and believed. For as yet they did not understand the scripture that he must rise from the dead. Then the disciples returned to their homes. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white sitting there where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there. But she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her.
Hey everyone, you made it to finals week. We're almost at the end of this crazy semester for all of us. Now, this might seem like a strange time to do a passage that we probably associate with Easter and the resurrection, but there are actually three things in this passage that I think are so relevant to what's happening for us right now. The first thing we see is that this passage has a lot of running. Did you notice that? Now, I don't know how many of you, when this whole thing started and you got sent home, that you're like, I'm going to have so much extra free time. I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. I don't know if you said that, but I thought, that'd be great. I'm going to go running. I'm going to be lifting weights. I'm going to have all this extra time. I don't know about you, but I haven't had a lot of extra time. The only thing extra I've been doing is eating extra carbs. I've had more carbs in the last 6 weeks than the last 6 years. I've done some running, but not what I expected. This passage, we see Mary. She goes to the tomb. She's in mourning, and she can't find Jesus. So she's running, looking for him. She goes to the disciples, and she tells them, hey, Jesus is missing. Someone's moved him. You got to help me. Man, they don't even let her finish. They run off ahead. They actually, one outruns the other. It's like they're having a race to get to the tomb. All three of them are running hard, passionately trying to find Jesus. Now, I don't know about you, but in this pandemic, it feels a little bit like Jesus is missing. Like, where is he and how do I find him? I want to encourage you to be running hard after him, searching for him the way Mary and John and Peter went running looking for Jesus when he went missing. I promise you, Jesus is not absent, but we need to run hard looking for him, pursuing him. I know for me, the difficulty of this time really has me needing Jesus' help. And so I have my daily running has been getting up, and before I even get out of my bed, having my Bible and my devotional guide right next to me, and journaling prayers, and I just don't let myself get out of bed until I spend that time with Jesus, and it has helped me to run hard after him. So even though this time is difficult, keep running hard after Jesus, like we see in this passage. Running, exerting effort. Okay, it's difficult. It's okay to put that effort in so that you can find him. Second thing that I think is really interesting is we see this case of mistaken identity. Now this is really weird because Mary knows Jesus well. They've spent a lot of time with one another. So by the time Mary gets back to the tomb, because, Peter and John got there before her. Apparently they outran her. They're better sprinters or something. By the time she gets there, there are two angels there. And they say, why are you crying? Because, she's so missing Jesus, the way we might be missing Jesus right now. And she's crying, and they say, why are you crying? And she turns around, and Jesus is right there in front of her. But she doesn't recognize him. She has no idea who he is. She thinks he's a gardener. And she asks Jesus where Jesus is. Now, what's interesting about that is we do the same thing. Jesus shows up in our life and we don't recognize him, particularly when he's dressed in gardener's clothes, right? We want something that is so obviously Jesus, that's so obviously God at work, that it's like glowing and amazing and beautiful. No, Jesus appeared like an ordinary gardener. How is Jesus showing up in your life right now in ways that you might not recognize? I challenge you to examine what's going on in your life and be looking. Ask God to open your eyes and show you, reveal to you where Jesus is. Where is Jesus working? What is Jesus saying to you that maybe you just haven't recognized as him? You didn't realize that was Jesus talking to you. You didn't realize that God was at work in that situation because it was so difficult or because it was so ordinary. We have a lot of ordinary happening right now. Where can you find Jesus in the ordinary right now? Seek it out. Run after it. Don't miss it. Don't miss Jesus thinking it's the gardener. Okay? That thing that you think is a gardener. Could it be Jesus at work? Examine that. Look for it. Search for it. The last thing, boy, this is so relevant right now. So when Jesus uses her name, when he says Mary, immediately she now recognizes this is not the gardener. This is Jesus. She recognizes his voice. She's been listening to him. She knows his voice. That is so beautiful. But what does she want to do? How does she respond? She wants to reach out and embrace. She wants to embrace Jesus. She thought she lost him forever when he died on the cross. And then when his body was taken, she thought, gosh, I'll never even get to be in the presence of his body again. So here he is, alive in front of her. She's so excited. And he says, don't cling to me. I'm returning to my Father. Does this feel familiar to you right now? I don't know about you, but it's really hard to not reach out and hug people in my life right now. This social distancing is hard. For some of you, this is no big deal, right? Some of my introvert friends have been telling me, "Oh, I've been training for this my whole life." Like, this is a dream, this social distancing. But for others of us that are more social or more physical touch and closeness is our love language, this is hard, not being able to reach out and embrace the people that we love, that are important to us. And even my introvert friends are starting to feel the pang of loneliness, not having that closeness with maybe even just that one or two close friends that they can't be near right now. Jesus is redirecting Mary's attention to her mission, to Jesus' mission and her mission. What is your mission right now during this time of social distancing? How can you make the love of Jesus known to others without the physical closeness that you're accustomed to? Could you send a text? Or maybe you're tired of your phone, maybe you don't you're probably screened out. I know I'm a little screened out, so thanks for watching this. But, can you make a phone call? Can you send a letter or a card? Can you, drive to their house and stand in the yard or sit 6 feet apart on the porch? Like, what can you do? We're so focused right now on what we can't do because it feels like we've lost so much. I mean, Mary had lost so much that when she finally found Jesus, she just wanted to cling to him. But Jesus reminds her that she has an outward-facing mission to make the gospel known. He reminds her of her purpose. Obviously, we want to be close to Jesus. We want to run hard after Jesus. We want to recognize where Jesus is at work in our life. But let's not focus on what we've lost. What is our mission? How do we make Jesus known? How do we experience closeness without clinging to one another, particularly physically, since we can't do that right now? Guys, you have come so far through a really difficult semester. It's been so hard to not see you around campus. We all miss you. This is a challenging time. Know that we've been praying for you. We're so proud of the way you've adjusted. And here you are. This is the finals week. Get through this week. Know that we love you, we miss you, and we're praying for you. Run hard after Jesus. Recognize where he's at work and look for opportunities to fulfill your mission. Look forward to seeing you, I hope, in the fall.